Keeping it real with Rudi Lickwood.
Mondays I'll be on Rudi Lickwood. Keep it real. Talk show. 8:30 p.m. Check it out. Boom.
Keeping it real with Rudi Lickwood. The topical interactive chat show where you may end up being one of the guests.
So what is
with
this
special guests and
phrase
the audience
to depopulate the planet?
Rudi Lickwood.
Who them gonna
this
populate
event is
it
brought
with?
to you by Comedy Hotspot. Don't forget, keeping it
Britain.
real with Rudi
Britain
Lickwood.
has approximately 60 odd million, nearly 70 million people in an area mass 88,000 square miles of land. Ghana, which is one of the smallest countries in Africa, has a population of approximately 30 million, with a land mass of 92,000 square miles of land. So where is overpopulated?
Right.
China has 1.3 billion people. Yeah. Yet China can fit within the southern regions of Africa. Yeah.
Alone.
Alone. And that area don't have 1 billion people.
Right.
So where is overpopulated? Who are they talking about? People need to learn and study science, geography, and mathematics. Don't let these people come and bamboozle you. Malcolm X tell us already, you've been bamboozled. No, we haven't.
Keeping it real with Rudi Lickwood. This is an 18 certificate only.
Thanks for your patience. How are you doing? Thanks to you guys for joining me on Keep It Real, where I get an opportunity to talk to guys that I've met throughout the years, really. It's been a fantastic day. I've got to say that from the off. There's no way I can see the lockdown keeping people in from what I've seen today. My name is Rudi Lickwood. I know I diverted off there to what a wonderful day it was today. And I'm going to be talking to a gentleman tonight who I met, I guess, when I was on my journey. Was I in the right, is that right room? Was I in the ring room? The ring room. You're in the right room, darling. You're in the right room. Just know that after an hour, I will be coming off Facebook and I will be going over to YouTube. That's a warning for everybody. Good evening, Jackie, one and all. Had to sleep all day to catch this one. Well, you know what? Because you know that this is going to be a fiery one tonight. We're going to learn things that you didn't expect. Oh my God, typo. Was I in the wrong room? No, you weren't in the wrong room. I'm not sure what room you're in. I know you're in a Facebook room. Good evening, Verona. How you doing, babes? Trevor. Yeah, you got your Saturdays back with your football. I know that. But let's get straight into this. Let's not waste no time. Let's get straight into this. Let me introduce my guest the way that I do, Mr. Kwaku Bonsu. Kwaku, man, how you doing?
Hotep, my brother.
Hotep, man, bless. Thank you for being here, man, because I know that yesterday was a tough time for you. You was out on the when I was talking to you on the phone yesterday, you broke down.
Yeah. It was it's a tough weekend.
Yeah, what was it? A flat tire? What did you have, man?
Yeah, it was the van I drive. The tire went flat, and it's one of those long wheelbase vans. You know what I mean? You have to jack it up and all them something there. You know them way there. And I don't understand them. I don't understand them jacks they send with it. Cause they can't jack up nothing. So I have to go now and drive, go down one garage and get one of the big jack them and things like that, and then come back and jack it up, take off the thing, put it back on. And then I was doing a bit of work yesterday as well.
Jesus Christ. Because you seem a bit tired, my friend. I'm not gonna lie. You do seem tired. And and for,
I was I was up until about 4:30 this morning.
okay.
You see, and then I got up. I went to my bed I must have got into my bed about 4:30 this morning. Don't know what time I drop off asleep.
Okay, the phone has just done a thing where it's spun
Yeah.
round.
Yeah. Yeah. So 1 second.
That's okay.
Sorry, Rudy. This is all happening live on.
Yeah. This. You know what? I prefer an interview when they're live as opposed to I could record them and then I could like edit them down. Yeah, I feel that people would much rather get an honest response and a true awakening of who my guests are. So
Man.
I deliberately don't. I don't go that route. I don't go that route. Maybe I might in the future. Who knows? Who knows?
To tell mum
I mean,
I'm busy. She can't. I can't answer the phone. Quick. She keeps phoning me.
Yeah. But right now, we can see your hand. I've got people in the room who are sending out greetings to you. You've got Liz saying greetings, Jackie saying greetings. Juicy Julie is also sending out some greetings to you. Are you okay? There we go.
I'm in now.
Is it nearly?
I'm in now, Roots. Can you hear me?
Yeah. But you're slightly off center though.
Huh?
You're off center.
Off center?
That's more. Yeah, you're more central. That's better.
I can just about hear you now.
No, can you just about hear me?
What it is, I'm doing it on my phone. I'm doing it on my phone, and my phone keeps ringing. And you know, when they do that, it just knocks out exactly what you're doing. You know what I mean? You know the rules.
Yeah, because you know where your mic is, I think it's slightly muffled as well. Greetings, Astrid. How you doing?
I'm trying to reconnect.
Okay, that sounds better.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now, Ruth?
I can hear you, but it's like you're frozen on me now.
Like it's gone dead.
No, we're fine.
I can hardly hear you now. That's what the problem is.
Is it? Oh no.
Can I log off and log back in?
Go ahead. Log off, log back in. Yes, log off and log back in.
Let me log off and log back in.
Well, as you can see, this is what happens when you're live, right? It's like, to me, it's the equivalent of like when you're performing and they tell you that you've got to wait for an artist to arrive. Can you improvise? And you get caught on the spot. Yeah. And that's it. That's basically just what's happened here. But it's good to see you, Craig. It's been a long time, my friend. Been wondering what you've been getting up to. No doubt you spent quite a while out and about. No doubt you went for a walk in the park. Because I definitely went for a walk today. I had to, man. I thought there was no way that I was going to get all that sunshine, yeah, and not go and get my vitamin D. You know what I mean? I had to go and get some vitamin D, man. Get some blood running through my you know what I mean? My body once again. Work, says Craig. Yes, Craig. I'd love to get to interview you as well, man. Find out. I know what you do, but it would be nice if you shared what you did. Do you know what I mean? But I'm not going to say unless you're prepared to say. You know what I'm saying, Craig? I mean, I see unless you're prepared to see it. Yeah. But it would be good. It would be interesting to actually sit down and have a chat with you today. You know it. I was out in it as well. Is it? sorting out your melanin, eh, girl? Yep. We were on the road to freedom. This is what I'm saying. I think that people are actually going to take their freedom. I mean, Kwaku, with the way that the weather is now, right? Can you see people putting up with lockdown?
Well, nobody put up with the lockdown when the weather was this time last year. It was sunny, you know, when the lockdown, if you remember rightly, and people didn't. you know, people was out. They were out on the, you know, I don't know about over here, but white people never put down to the lockdown. They were
went
out
to
there in
Bournemouth, man.
numbers.
They was all in Bournemouth, going in the sea, out in
In
South.
Bournemouth, you go Clapham Common, over
Yeah.
in South London where I am, you go Clapham Common, you go Brackwell Park. They were out there like sea, like it was a normal summer's day. Them no put on to lockdown, but me never seen a police van and lock them up.
Seed.
Them something there.
Seed.
Yeah, something I said. Me never seen none of that.
I do.
Them out there, them and them children a ride bike and one bag or something. If they were really reporting it, I don't know about any other city, but in London, in the daytime, there was no lockdown. I suppose at night, when it gets on to about 10 o'clock at night, then because all the businesses and everything shut, them now know we forgot, so them have forgot them yard. You understand me? But daytime, them out there.
Yeah, because
Them
I mean
out
that's
there.
when they first of all started to tell us that COVID used to turn up at 6 p.m. in the evening. Remember when they used to tell us that COVID?
Yeah. Them tell you say, it's a COVID. You know, COVID, because COVID is a very intelligent bacteria, you know. A very intelligent man. COVID know what time for come deal with you. Yeah. COVID know where for come deal with you. COVID even know the distance to deal with you. Yeah, that's what I say. Yeah, man. No, you mean, man? COVID is so intelligent that they have to cut off the road them to stop COVID for go down the road them.
Because all down South London, if I'm correct, they're blocking off the roads.
They block off all the roads. You could. It's in Brixton with me there. See, you can't drive through Brixton no more. You have to go round. So you can only go on Brixton Road. You can only go Loughborough Road. You can only go Dulwich Road. Efra Road. You can only go Akerlane. You can't go through the houses and all them. So them lock it off because COVID block up around there. See, if you go through there, you might get COVID. You see, if you go through there, so no, you might get COVID. You see, because COVID, you know. And when them first block it off, you know, them say because of COVID, them block off the road. So COVID has the ability to come off the sidewalk with your car window them up into your car and infect you. Amazing.
It is amazing. It is amazing. What I find amazing is that you're funny without even trying. You're funny without even trying, because it's not something you deliberately set out to do, is it?
No, I didn't set out to do comedy.
Because you see, people are already laughing, and it's not like you sort of like set about and said, right, let me make the people them laugh, or let me tell a joke. That's not how comedy happens for you, is it?
No. And as you well know, Rudi, we've worked together for many years. I've known you over 2 decades, and I've never written a material yet. Only once.
And what was that for? What was that for? Club class.
That was for club class, yeah. And that took me it took me 2 days to do that. Because me think when them right man say, yeah, come on, all them something, yeah, me just turn up. When the people them say I have to send them in, when me I go say, me never know what to do. Yeah.
Because I know that I know that you're a man who walks onto the stage with no idea, none, in terms of what you're gonna say. I mean, yes, you've got an idea that you was on stage before, and there were certain routines that you had, but it's always recreated. It's never ever the same.
Yeah, I call it kamikaze comedy.
Is it? Okay.
People call it ad-lib. People call it ad-lib and them thing there, but we call it kamikaze comedy. Because I'm a total wreck before I start. Yeah, you know that, Rudi. You work with me.
You are a nervous wreck.
I don't know how whatever it is I'm going to say is going to come out. I know people might not believe that, but over the years, because I've done stuff, and people like you will say to me, Kwaku, record your stuff, because you know, because you work with me so much time, and you never hear the same thing twice. Until So I've had to try to record myself. I remember some stuff, and some stuff I don't remember.
Mm.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah, I do.
Because my comedy,
Your comedy's in the moment. It's always in the moment.
Yeah, it's in the moment. It's in the moment. It's in the moment. It's always. I try to keep in the moment. Now, that's not saying that there ain't stuff I've said before.
No,
I
I
haven't
get
said
that.
again.
Yeah.
You understand me? But
Yeah.
I don't have what they
You have
call
a
a
set
set.
list.
They don't have a set that this got this, so that in the middle and that are the clothes. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, me naked on stage. When you really check it, the only thing me have on is clothes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's naked comedy that I get.
Yeah, but
raw and diluted.
But let's go back. Let's go back even further, because what people don't know about you, is that as much as you're saying that the comedy is very spontaneous, right, and it's very much in the moment, you do have a background, right, when it comes to the arts. I mean, who would have known that you did tap dancing?
Hey, Rudi, what you me out for, man? You me out for, man? Yeah, I did tap dancing, man. I did tap dancing. As a youth.
I gotta laugh, man. I have to laugh because we all know you.
Shuffle, upstep, shuffle, good change, you know?
Yeah, I have to bust a laugh. You have to forgive me, because this is you. This is you.
That's me, that's me,
Right?
That's at the annual African Emancipation Day reparations march.
Yeah, and I mean, like, there's a lot of people who don't really understand what you said. Yeah, so please explain, right? Why?
Well, that picture was a picture of a demonstration that we do every year since 2014, and that demonstration is part of the Pan-Africanist movement. And it's part of reparations.
Okay.
Where we're seeking an all-party parliamentary inquiry into what we call the Mangamizi, because Mangamizi is a Kiswahili word for colonial, neo-colonial chattel enslavement of our people, you know, the kidnapping of our people from the continent of Africa and putting us on concentration camps in various parts of the American world. And those of us like yourself and me, Rudi, who come here to Britain via the Caribbean are the descendants of those kidnapped people. And when those people fought the British to the negotiation table for their freedom, what the British did, they compensated the enslavers and gave the enslaved nothing. And hence why you see, you know, people who look in the Caribbean, Trinidad, Jamaica, where there's a lot of problems in those particular islands in terms of violence and crime and drugs and all the rest of it, and people look in it and they look on the surface of it, but they don't look on the history of it. And everything has a history. Everything has a history. There's a history behind everything. And so we're the only people on the planet that everybody said, oh, that happened, then forget it, and things like that. And they can always get people like us who look like us to even support that narrative. But they would never say that to the Jews. They didn't say that when the Japanese was getting their reparations from the Americans and so forth. You understand what I'm saying to you? And what happened to us as African people is the single most heinous crime in the history of humanity. It's the worst. You understand? Because it lasted over 400 years and it still continues until today. And interesting enough that you asked me that question, beloved. The trial for the murder of George Floyd started today. So that's an interesting point. You see what I'm saying? Now you got me in my serious mode. This is my serious mode.
No. I haven't really. I've got you in your Kwaku mode. Yeah.
Yes.
Because what people are not aware, may not be aware of, or they most probably are aware of, especially if they've seen you do comedy, right, is that your comedy is very uncompromising, and it's not. You don't sway. You don't like.
I don't bend.
Yeah. You don't bend.
And that's always been me throughout my life, Rudi. You know, I don't claim to be. I've never claimed to be the best comic. No, you know, I love doing stand up. because it's an opportunity for me to Africate the people, to give a little information with humor.
Okay.
Understand what I'm saying to you? And I've worked with many comics over the years, male and female. And as you know, there are nights when, you know, whatever show you do, there's going to be.
Let's talk about the Kevin Hart night in Birmingham.
Oh,
go on.
Oh.
Let's talk about the Kevin Hart night in Birmingham.
What do you want to know?
Just tell people what happened that night, because you weren't even meant to be on.
Well, as you know, Rudy, I'm not the first choice for promoters in the comedy arena, primarily for two reasons, and one you explained earlier. One is that they don't know what I'm going to say because I don't know what I'm going to say.
Right.
And two, I'm very radical in the things that I say. I will say things that people think, ooh, he's gone a bit over the edge. You know what I mean? And so most of the promoters don't want to book me because, let's be truthful, they don't want to offend white people. It's white people that don't offend. But the thing is,
the thing is,
the white audience love it.
Sorry. No, I'm going to let you talk.
Yeah, they don't want to offend white people. You know what I mean? And I try my best to be truthful in any statement that I make, because the truth can stand for itself. It can defend itself. It has no friends, and it does offend. You understand what I'm saying? But comedy is a thing where you express yourself. You understand? So I don't intentionally go there I don't go there to, you know, offend people in per se, but I will say things because I can only do comedy from my experience. I'm an African man in Britain, Banyaso, black man. I can only give comedy from my perspective. I can't do comedy from nobody else's perspective. I can only do comedy from my experience. And you do comedy and what you experience, whether in your past or in the present time that you live. You understand me? So some people find it uncompromisable.
Well, I call it more challenging, because what people fail to understand is that I mean, I work predominantly on the mainstream circuit, which is the white circuit, okay, and I found that they're more open to the truth and honest comedy than they are to a couple of gags, all right, which is finding Christmas cards, yeah, or when you pull a cracker, yeah, but when you start talking about social issues, that's when you've got their real attention. Right? That's the sort of comedy that you will find that blossoms in places like Edinburgh. All right. But when we start talking about commercial comedy, we're just talking about going to the nightclub, we're talking about having drugs for the first time, we're talking about getting pissed and fucked up. And then, oh, look how many bruises I've come home with, you know, the next day. Right. That's very superficial in terms of what comedy can be about, and promoters tend to want to lean that way unless they can see that I guess you've got high numbers on social media, right? Then what they're looking for is bums on seats. What they tend to find with the social media comedians is they don't really have the same sort of impact that a real comedian would have. What I would call a real stand-up comedian, because everyone's got their own. Comedy is very subjective, basically, to put it that way. But your comedy has always been uncompromising. It's always been challenging. Yeah, I mean, there's people in here who are already saying real talk, Kwaku, because that's what they really want from you. It's what people actually want from you. I mean, I've got a question here that's been asked of you straight away. Ask him about Magalufi. That's John Magalufi.
President Pombe Magufuli. What do they want to know about Magufuli? That's the question. But I think the question is, do I think Magufuli was assassinated by the West? Yes, I do.
Okay, and the reasons. Give your reasons.
You know, Africa is the breadbasket of the world. The whole world needs Africa. Africa doesn't need the world, and this is what people do not understand. Africa doesn't need the world for anything. It don't need the world for resources. What it needs from the world is to leave them alone to develop. Africa is the cradle of civilization. It's a cradle of history. It's the beginning of human civilization, and it is the cradle of resources. Even the apparatus that we're using now, Rudy,
Yeah.
if it wasn't for Africa, we couldn't use it, because 80% of the natural resources that is used to manufacture this, the computers and the phones and all the things, comes out of Africa. Most of it come out of the Congo.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm saying to you?
Somebody in the comments could actually tell us what that mineral is, because I know that there's somebody in the comments who knows the mineral that he's referring to. Okay.
You want me to? I can tell you. I can tell you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's coltan and
That's
cobalt.
Right. Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, it's worth more than gold.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? For the things that it do, the satellites in the air, the laser guided missiles, you name it. It's in that. It's in computers, laptops, televisions, telephone. The entire electrical technology depends on that resource. And Europeans and Asians, in terms of the Japanese, the Chinese, and all, they get it for nothing, literally nothing. And other resources as well, copper, iron, oil, plutonium, uranium for their nuclear weapons and all them things. This is how Africa come. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Africa don't need nobody. And what Magafuli did, he prevented big corporate companies from stealing the resources of Tanzania without paying the right price from it. Because, Africans ain't saying they're not going to share their wealth with you. What Africa is saying that you need to pay the proper price for it. And so that we can build up our infrastructures within our countries and our people benefit from it. But we have a lot of despots in Africa. And what you find is that European countries, anytime you see there's a president in Africa that they're friends with, he is robbing the country. Because you're gonna and anyone you see that don't agree with them, that doesn't follow their narrative, they demonize them. And that's because they want to destabilize the country so they could continue to get the natural resources for little than nothing.
Because one of the final straws when it came to Magafuli was the fact that when the COVID thing happened, and it shocked the world, he actually stood up and said, "Well, no, we've actually got scientists here, we've actually got doctors here, okay, and until our doctors say what needs to be done, are we going to step forward?" So nobody was wearing any masks at the time. There was no social distancing.
And interestingly enough, that you said that, Rudy, he did not say that he was not gonna use any vaccine. What he said, our scientists have to check it out first.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things that he says, he goes, Europeans don't have no monopoly on intelligence. You understand what I'm saying? And he pulled away from the WHO. And as African people, we have got to be very mindful of what's going on there, because a virus that started out in China, in Wuhan in China, that supposedly decimated Italy and Spain and them places there, it reached the United States of America and eventually reached here. From becoming an Asian problem, it became an African problem. And we became at the top of the list of potential death and contraction of this disease. How ironic is that? Until they were demonizing Africans in China, running them out of hotels, flinging them down on the street, attacking them. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Yeah? For something that never come out of an African laboratory. It never come out of an African laboratory on the continent. It didn't come out of an African laboratory in the Caribbean. It came out of a Chinaman laboratory. And we now know that disease is patented, and any it's
been patented for years.
Yeah, it's been patented for years. And any antidote that is created for it has been patented. You
Right.
understand what I'm saying to you? So
Yeah.
we know, and see, this is the type of stuff I would put in. I put
Into
in
your
my
humor, and
material.
this is what I want. This is what
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
want people to understand exactly where your comedy is coming from, because your Afrocentric views are really based around the love of being of knowing who you are.
Exactly.
And,
And you know, like Rudy, I was born in this country.
mhm,
You understand?
mhm.
So I went to school in this country like you did. You know, I went college in this country. I
And what
worked
did
in
you
this
do when you was at
country.
college? What did you do when you was at college?
I went to redo my maths and my English and that because I got expelled from school at 15. Yeah.
Right.
And then I went back to college later on to do computers, you
Mhm.
know, to learn about computers and things like that in the early days, in the early,
So what was you
the late 80s.
questioning authority at the age of 15, or what was the issues you were actually having at school at that point in time?
Well, at that point, I caught a teacher roughing up my younger brother. So I bossed him with a chair.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
simple as that.
Hmm.
It's a long story,
No,
and I'll have
no.
to
I
come
mean,
back another
you've
time
told
to
the story
really go into that.
my friend, you bust his head with a chair, and he was messing about with your brother. Um,
Yeah, so
so that led you to having to leave school at a quite early age, and then
at quite
going
early age. Yeah.
study. Yeah, and
Yeah,
you.
but my point was, Rudy, I didn't want to stray. My point was that everything I learned about me
Mhm,
was from the community that I grew up in. And I grew up in Brixton when Brixton was Brixton, you know, like when Arsden was Arsden, when
mhm.
Dawson was Dawson, you know, when Tottenham was Tottenham and so forth, you know, when all these St. Paul's were St. Paul's and, you know,
So then
Answorth was Answorth.
how do you end up? How do you end up tap dancing then? How do you end up? Why did you end up going to tap dancing? How did that happen?
Well, when I used to go Sunday school, as a young age, believe it or not, I was a very good singer. I could sing. You wouldn't know that now, but I was a very good. You know, I could sing. And I used to sing in church and things like that. And
Mhm,
you know, my pastor, who's gone on to the ancestors now, used to encourage me, and so did my mama. And he said you should do something with that because he can sing. You know,
mhm,
and I used to sing at primary school as well.
mhm,
Because this was when I was primary, in the around the age of 8 and 10.
mhm.
And so my mum enrolled me into the Italia Conte school.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's where
To
Lena Tavaroni went.
Yeah,
Lena.
Lena Zavaroni. Yeah. I was in class at one point.
Mhm,
Yeah, and they my mom enrolled me into the Italian country school. And my little brother and my little sister, funny enough. Yeah, my little sister did ballet,
mhm,
and my brother did drama, and I did tap dancing and singing.
mhm.
So I didn't do drama. I did tap
Okay.
dancing and singing.
Mhm.
And I remember getting all them certificate. Them last them no, because I don't know where them gone no. But me did I get a certificate because I used to sing all Michael Jackson tune. When Michael Jackson was Michael Jackson.
Well, when he had a little black
Yeah,
nose, when he had a black nose,
yeah. When he had the
a
his
spread nose,
afro and
afro.
yeah. You know what I mean? And that beautiful nose that he had. You understand what I'm saying to you? And so, you know, I used to sing Michael Jackson tune and things like that. And but I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go to stage school. I didn't want to do it because I
Mm.
wanted to play cricket for my primary school.
Okay.
Because I had to go to Italia Conte on a Saturday, I couldn't go and play cricket for my school, you
Okay.
know? And I bunked it. Hey, who bunks the Italia Conte school? I did. Yeah, I tell you though. The old lady got wind of it and I get her ass beaten, you see.
Oh god. Oh god.
Yeah, but you know, I went there for a while. I went there for a while, and um if I look back at it, it was all right, but it was mainly white people. So
Mm.
we were the only kind of like black people in there. There's a couple of other black people, but it was about like 98% European.
But later on, you met up with Chris Cummins, known as Toshiba, and Llewellyn Gideon.
I knew Luella Gideon differently. I knew her before. You know,
Because
we were friends. We were part of the same group of people and things like that. So we were friends. And
Llewellyn, some people might not know or may not recall, is that Llewellyn was in The Real McCoy. She was
that's
the one
right.
who did
Yeah,
the
yeah.
famous Margaret Thatcher sketch
Yeah.
Was always partnered up with Leo Chester in wherever
Very talented sister.
very
Very talented sister.
extremely. I mean, she sold out. I remember she sold out the Oval. I think she sold out the Oval about three times over. This was slightly before Angela Lamar actually started doing her thing. Llewellyn was actually selling out. But there was I believe that there was, like you said, there was a story about between you and Llewellyn, how you met up with Llewellyn.
Yeah, well, what happened is, you know, Llewellyn, a very beautiful African woman. And I fancied her. You know what I mean? And we, you know, we used to talk and thing. And she was going to this, she said she was going to some place when they asked me to follow her. Yeah. So we went down to Hammersmith. I can't remember, I think it was underneath the flyover somewhere. But what it was a black drama school. And it was run by Beastie. Remember Beastie? He's gone on to the ancestors now. And I went there with her, and I stood at the side, and they told me to come and get involved in and all the rest of it. And we did some drama thing, and some little acting business was going on, and you know, you just had to be freelance and things like that. And so I joined in and thing, and then it was a nice evening. And then when they finished, he told me to come back. He said, "Make sure you come back next week." And I said, "Yeah." And so me and her left, and we went home and things like that, and but I never ever went back.
Okay.
She called me a couple times, say, "Come in." But you know, them days that you're young, you know what I mean? You got so much things I do, you know, depending on what thing, you know,
yeah.
And you know, I didn't go back, and you know, years later, I saw her on the Real McCoy.
Whoa. That must have been quite interesting. But the thing is that you kept on meeting people along the way, because around that time was that when you started to get into how did you? I know we're going backwards and forwards a bit, but I think we have to with yourself. Was like, how did you get into the because you met up with Jeff Schumann is where I'm trying to go, because Jeff was into community work and what have you.
Yeah, Jeff Schumann. What a lot of people don't know is that Jeff Schumann was a community worker before he was doing comedy and all the rest of that type of stuff, you know. And interestingly enough, his first children mother was Evie, was a Pan-Africanist. You know, they were Pan-Africanist people, and I met them through an organization that was called Reality Syndicate at the time. And in a place called New Initiatives, and there was this meeting and thing and everything. But the Saturday school that I'm still a part of today, that was created by Dr. Femi Biko, was actually incepted with Jeff Schumann's children's mother.
Okay.
Yeah, she was the president of the school when we first started the school. So she was a president alongside the creator of the school.
Right.
Yeah. And so that's how I met Jeff. And interestingly enough, we were trying to raise money for the school. And Jeff came and said, "Look, you know, he's putting on an event." And that was in Hammersmith. And we could come down there, and if we could come down with buckets, he would give us an opportunity at some point through his show to collect money. And we said, yeah. So, you know, we went down there. I can't remember the year it is. And when we went down there, I was a spokesperson.
You ended up taking to the stage though to cajole the people into making an offering.
Yeah. So Jeff gave us about 3-4 minutes to go out there and speak to the people. So my colleagues nominated me to go and talk, you know. And I went on this. We went out there on the stage, and I went out there and I started to talk to the people. And then I don't know, the people them just start laughing. I couldn't tell you what I'd said. That was so funny to be fair. But the people them just start laugh, and it was good. And I remember because we raised over £600 at the time, and that was in the early 90s. That would have been, I'll tell you what that would have been about 93. Around about that time there. Yeah, it would have been around about 93. Because it was actually, I think, the year before I entered comedy.
Yeah.
It was around. It was around about 93. And then Jeff now, used to keep badgering me and say, listen, look, you know, I do this comedy thing, you know, you should do comedy, you should do comedy. This man not talk about comedy. When me know about comedy, he me train to be a comedian. So, and he used to always badger me. Anytime he see me, he said, Kwaku, you know, you come down, come and, you know, I can help you and this and that. I said, nah, yeah. But I wasn't even on that kind of tip at the time, you know what I mean? You know, I was on, in fact, I was doing a radio show that ran up, near enough ran about them times as well.
So what are we talking about? Power Jam? Are we talking about Power Jam? Or
yeah, Power Jam. Yeah, the Nubian Forum People's Talk Show that I used to do on Power Jam. Yeah.
Because Power Jam,
You know?
at the time, as I can recall it, it was transmitting mainly across London, if I'm correct. More south.
Yeah, you're correct.
South London time.
Yeah. But and I must let people know this. Power Jam, interestingly enough, was one of the first, if not the first.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Not the first, if not the first, pirate station to go internet.
Yeah, but it was
early days.
Yeah, but it was also less about the music and more about the chat.
Well, it was more about the music, but I had a chat show on there.
That's what I'm talking about.
And that was a difference. Yeah, I had a talk show there alongside two of my brothers we were working together on what we call the Liberation Road. Yeah, Kuumba and Nikoja.
Okay. Because I mean, that was the one thing that I did notice, that when it came to our radio stations, I mean, I would hear about Radio 4 and Radio 3, and they would have dramas and stuff like that. But in terms of our community, there wasn't really a lot of talk. There wasn't really a lot of interaction that was going on, or talking about exactly what was going on within the community. We were just playing music at the time. So did you used to play on sound? How did that? I mean, how did you get into radio then? Because did that come through the sound systems or?
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, Rudy. See, because when we're dealing with a subject like this, we're worth to put people, give the people the correct genealogy. Yeah. There was a radio station called Genesis,
right,
and they were the first, as I know, to start doing talk shows.
Okay,
Genesis Radio. They used to have several presenters that did talk shows, and they were heavy in the day.
Okay.
But the owner of Genesis and the owner of Power Jams were friends. In fact, they started Power Jam together. Yeah, and then he left them when they started up Genesis, and so I think it was a little competition thing. But the owners of Power Jam at the time, we grew up together in Sunday school, so they knew me. They knew me. We're family, really. You might as well say, because that's how we live, you know. And they noticed the work that I was doing in the community at the time. Right. Doing a lot of grassroots work, you know.
Yeah.
Just entering into the what we call the liberation struggle, and you know, sojourning to know who I really am, find out about who we are, not me, but who we are as African people in this country. And it's on that sojourn now I started to do the Saturday school. Then I started to do other things because I helped run a course in Pentonville Prison, in Rochester Women's Prison.
Okay.
I did things in Brixton Prison. You know, I was lecturing in universities on African history and stuff like that. You know, we've been invited by the African and African Caribbean Students Union to do lectures in universities. So I lectured in the University of Kent, in Canterbury, Brunel University, Leicester University, Bristol, Manchester, you know, Birmingham.
So was you doing all of these things while you were still at BT?
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah, I was doing that while I was at BT, and it's one of the reasons why I left BT. One of the reasons why I just gave up the job, because you can't do activism work and have employment, like in terms of have them employing you.
Right.
It affects what you have to do, because you got to go meetings at all hours of night. Sometimes you got to go demonstrations at a particular day. You can't be, you know, begging you know, for day off and all them things to go and do those type of stuff, you know what I mean? And it started to affect, and I got deeply rooted in it. You could say I kind of got fanatical.
Yeah,
you know,
you
I
were
was
fanatical.
reading.
Kwaku, you are fanatical. I have to tell you that, because it was you who made me coin the phrase on stage. BT are black technicians. That's what I said. That was one of the similes that I used to use on stage and get laughs with. And that was through talking and meeting up with yourself. You know, because as you said, it was.
Tell you, it's interesting. Now that you say that, you know, Rudy, you asked me about Kevin Hart. I will come back to that. But interestingly enough, when I was working with BT, I worked in the exchange, and I worked in actually the BT tower. So we worked in the exchange, and we were called jumper runners. And what that is, you connect the lines, the new lines that people want from inside the exchange. You understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we should work on the test desk, and you test the line, and you send a signal down the line, and then the engineer goes to the cab and he picks it up on his oscillator and he connects it there and then sends it into the yard. It's all that type of stuff we do. So, and I worked in there for a time, and that's a whole nother story in itself. But then I moved on to a project that they were doing. It was called a pay and answer change out, and what that was, you was changing all the pay phones in London and the outskirts. So I'd work in Luton and Welling Garden City and places, you know, Hempstead and all them things. I went, you know, it took me everywhere. Yeah. It took me everywhere. So what happened is, I had a job to do one day, and it was to put a payphone in Hackney Empire. Yeah. Yeah. It was to put a payphone in Hackney Empire, and I went down there, and I went in Hackney Empire, and I had to run. It was one of the longest runs I did, you know, because you have to earth the phone as well, so you got to find yourself. And so when people was using the payphones in Hackney Empire back in the 90s, I put them in there. Yeah. So and that was it. That was around that. That was around the time when they had 291 Club.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, in the early part when they had 291 Club. And that was in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. And I always remember going on the stage. I walked out on the stage. I don't know why I walked out on that stage. I walked out on that stage and I looked up, and something inside of me said, "You're going to be here one day." I didn't know what to do.
Right.
But I just had a little feeling inside of me. I just looked up, and that was it. I did the job. Yeah, I did the job, and that was it. And who would have known that X amount of years later, I did a show in fact, I worked a couple of times in Hackney Empire. But the person that brought me in Hackney Empire was Cabaret, and Miles Crawford, Huey Crawford, and their brethren Richie.
Okay, yeah, that was the three of them. The three of them. That was the three of them, because that's where Slim made his debut. Slim's first gig was actually on Hackney Empire when Curtis introduced him. But then you and Slim then met up.
Oh no, I don't know about that.
Yes, because I believe it. After me and you spoke, I actually spoke to Slim, right? And like, I know that your cousin Danny used to run.
That's right. My cousin Danny used to run. In fact, my cousin Danny, I think, is responsible for the old talent thing in Britain, because he used to live in America. He went to America for a while. I lived in the States for a while. But my cousin went to America to live as well, and he stayed out there for a long time. And he's always been kind of, you know, a kind of an entrepreneur kind of guy. And
we're talking about Bickle's Bakery, aren't we? We're talking about Bickle's Bakery. Am I correct?
Yeah, Bickle's Bakery. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And he when he returned back to England from the United States of America, he started doing live shows. And one of the first live shows he did was Lovers Rock. He was the one that came with it. He doesn't get the recognition for it, but these things happen. But he came and did the first Lovers Rock concert back in the 90s. He came up with it, yeah? And then he had a company called Talent Quest.
That's right.
And Talent Quest was a talent competition, a grassroots talent competition for grassroots singers and poets and that type of stuff.
Yeah, because that's what brought to us Singers Paradise. Singers Paradise grew out of that as well, which ended up in Camden. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right. That's right.
yes, Danny is responsible for. I would say Danny was part of the movement that was happening at that time because
we don't know what I don't know what was happening outside of London.
In one side, you had Miles doing his thing on the other side. You get me? You had the Real McCoy crew. You had the Posse, right? You had the BB crew. You had John Smith. There was a lot going on. There was a hell of a lot going on, and it all culminated. The 291 was where it all came together. Basically, all the arts came together. You get me? And so you were part of this.
I think 291 was before Danny's Talent Quest. 291 was before that. It was before that.
Well, it
was before that.
291 was before, right? And Slim would be correct in saying that his initial gig because he did say he did Hackney Empire before he did Danny.
Because Danny run a competition. Yeah. But I know Slim differently. I know Slim differently from comedy.
Right, because we're talking sound system.
Yeah, I know Slim from our sound system there, because Slim was part of a sound called Sovereign.
Right.
And I was part of a sound called Magic.
Right.
Yeah, and we used to play out on all them things there, and we did. In fact, we did a big dance one night over in Sydenham, in Slimdom area, because Slimdom was Brockley and Sydenham and them side there. And Slim was a mic man, and I've actually got a cassette tape with me and Slim on the mic together. Yeah.
But the thing is that disinformation when you did Danny's and did Hackney, I think it might be it weren't Hackney. You did something else because it came back to Schumann.
Well, you see, what actually happened is it was through Danny's Talent Quest how I ended up in comedy.
Right.
When I used to work for BT in Exchange, there was always a brother. We used to call him Dinger, and he used to always say to me, "You should be on stage." And I know it's a bit cliche, but most of us who are stand-ups have a story like that. I always remember Richard Blackwood telling a story like that, and you telling a story like we all have got that. So where our mates said, "No, man, you supposed to be on stage." In fact, I remember my first performance was in a dance. I was about 22.
Ross.
I was 22 years old, and the sound broke down. The electric went off because people don't know there used to be power cuts in London back in the day. Yeah, and there was a power cut. The sound system broke down, and I ended up entertaining that party for about an hour before they got the sound back on. A man can come and tell me so people say, but it was just rhetoric, just talking.
Yeah.
You understand me? A lot of the, I think a lot of the skills that I developed in terms of my style came from my brethren them when we used to laugh and joke amongst each other, and we always want to get one over on each other and things like that. You know, you understand?
Yeah.
And so, you know that's I suppose my craft was being honed at that time, but Danny had the Talent Quest going on, and then I started to work with him on the Talent Quest and things like that. And interestingly enough, he got access to Junglers in Clapham Junction Comedy Club, and so he used to do a Wednesday night down there. Now Wednesday is quite significant, but he used to do a weekly talent show down at Junglers.
In Battersea.
This is how I met in Battersea. This is how I saw the likes of, and this is how I met you. This is how it comes in the
I did wonder where we did actually come together, you know.
Yes, this is how I met you, because I watched you perform. Yeah, it was one of Danny's thing. You performed. I met you. I met Roger D. I met Richard Blackwood, because I think Richard Blackwood started in it probably about 18 months before I did. Yeah. I met Robbie and Eddie, and you know, most of the comics at the time, who were the dons at the time. I used to go down. We used to sit down and we used to watch them perform. And watch singers perform and things.
But there's an interesting story between you and Roger D, because
like that comes after. I got to tell this piece first. Okay. I can't get to Roger yet. I haven't met Roger yet with this piece. So what happened is one night, I wasn't. In fact, it's strange enough. I was, because I used to go every week, but because it's my cousin, I don't have to pay in it. So I done in it. So
I get freeness. I get freeness.
Hold
on. Let me just cut you for a second, right? I'm gonna let everybody know in the rooms, yeah, that in the next 4 minutes I'm going over to YouTube. All right. So I will be switching off Facebook, and I'll be switching over to YouTube. Okay. So give it 4 minutes and we'll be gone. All right. Sorry. So you were saying, Kwaku?
What's the YouTube channel, Rudy? You didn't get him?
Oh, do you? Yeah, that's right. I haven't, you know. You know what? It's a good thing you said that, you know. Let me put it, I'm going to put it in the, I'm going to put it in the section for you guys, so as that you can know that I'm going to actually switch over. The thing is I'm getting fed up with the way that Facebook is treating me, you know? It's like, it's almost like they're taking the piss with me. So I just decided.
I think they take the piss with everyone.
Yeah.
Hey, don't take it personal, Rude.
Don't take it personal.
Issues, man. They take the piss out of all of us, man.
Listen, mate, the way that they treat
people... They've got to follow government guidelines now, innit? Because you know, people's freedom of speech is not allowed to go now. So the authorities is coming down on them now to curtail what people say. So obviously, you know, when you see them do certain things, it's because the superpowers who run everything is coming down on them, not to allow people to tell their truth. And so they're between a rock and a hard stone. They didn't do it before, but they have to do it now. And that's just the truth of the matter, really.
Okay. I hear you. Well, people, the link is now in the comment section. So if you'd like to grab hold of that link, I will be switching over to YouTube. All right, in the next 2 minutes.
And it's a money thing, you Rudy, because you know what I would say about you, Rudy, before we go any further, what I've always respected about you, in particular, you're very professional and precise in anything you do. You're not a kamikaze comedian. You're quite prepared. You're quite articulate, and you think about what you do. You need a bit of encouragement in it, but you think, and you know, once you get a wind of something, you're on it. I love the way that you present your show. You know, what you have here, you could transmit it to television and you wouldn't have to change anything. But they would want to change what people like me saying things like that, because you know that's how
them now do that because I mean, the way that I look at it, Quakes, I remember when I first embarked and heard what you had to say, yeah, and as a Black British youth, it was so refreshing to hear. It was only you and Leo Chester.
Leo Muhammad, yeah.
Yeah, there was nobody else. Curtis was touching on it, yeah, but Curtis was very much about being Jamaican and not really wanting to associate with what it is to be British, even though he does today. Today it's a totally different ball game because we've all matured and got older. But you were very much about what's going on in Britain, how it affects the world, how it affects the Caribbean. What are we going to do about it? Are we going to take responsibility for it? Yeah. And that's why it was so important for me to allow people to understand where you're coming from, so as that they could see why your humor is the way that it is. It's not racist. It's not any of those things.
Oh no, it definitely is racist.
No, it's about race.
It's about our race.
It's about our race. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with being proud.
Yeah.
You see, there you go again, right? There's nothing wrong with. I mean, I say I'm a proud racist in the sense I'm proud of my race. Yeah, but it's not in the sense of saying that we should get rid of white people and they don't belong here and blah blah blah. People misconstrued, you know. When you start telling people about Pythagoras and his theory being 2,000 years before Pythagoras was born, coming from Imhotep, and that Pythagoras is a thief, some people, that's what they see as being, oh my God, how could you say that Pythagoras was a thief? Because I understand the history. I understand.
What happened is Pythagoras didn't call it the Pythagorean theorem.
No, he didn't.
It was his followers that did.
That's right. It's the European.
He only sat at the feet of the Africans in ancient Kemet and learnt from them, and came to teach his own people it. You see what I'm saying? But he himself never called it the Pythagorean theorem.
No, but my point is though, is that when you bring this to the stage, and you start talking about this kind of material, and the audience are really coming to. No, the promoters assume that the audience are only coming there to hear about relationships issues. Yeah,
which brings me to you jerk my memory.
Wait, hold on. We are now. I'm just going to say goodbye to YouTube, not to YouTube, to Facebook.
To Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook. Me gone. Bye, Facebook. Bye, Facebook. Please don't say that I didn't tell you, but we are leaving Facebook now. Okay, bye.